Next explorer, navigator, that is Vasco da Gama. Now we are going to understand about Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama, in the year 1497, Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese seafarer, set sail with a fleet of 4 ships and 170 sailors. Remember students, 170 sailors के साथ वो निकला था in search of India. He reached to the eastern coast of Africa and visited a few African ports like Mombasa and Malindi. At Malindi, he met an Indian navigator and he guided, मतलब basically वो guide कर रहा था to Vasco da Gama to reach to the port of India. And basically the port of India मतलब port of Calicut. So at Malindi he met an Indian navigator and under his guidance Vasco da Gama landed at the Indian port of Calicut, that is Kozhikode port, in 1498. So in the year 1498 Vasco da Gama reached India, that is Calicut. He asked King Zamorin of Kozhikode for trading permission. After obtaining the permission, he returned to Portugal and thereafter trade started with the Indian continent, that is Asian continent. So India or European countries का trade चालू हुआ. Thereafter he visited India twice and he became the first viceroy of Goa and Kochi. आफ्टर मतलब सेकेंड विजिट के बाद उसको वाइसरॉय बना दिया एंड आफ्टर दैट द पोर्चुगीज रूल वॉज एस्टैब्लिश्ड ओवर देयर, दैट इज इन गोवा एंड कोची, विच वॉज वी कैन सी दैट आज भी हम लोग गोवा घूमने जाए तो बहुत सारी जगह पे हम लोगों को ऐसे पोर्चुगीज़ लोग मिलते हैं या बहुत सारे ऐसे पोर्चुगीज़ आर्किटेक्चर मिलते हैं या बहुत सारे ऐसे हम लोगों को चीज़ें मिलती है विच इज़ नॉट इंडियन, हम लोगों को यूरोपियन स्टाइल दिखता है उसमें. सो द ट्रेडिंग बिटवीन यूरोपियन कंट्रीज एंड इंडिया वॉज इनिशिएटेड थ्रू दिस एफर्ट. The next person that we are going to understand is Ferdinand Magellan. Now, Ferdinand Magellan is a very known Spanish explorer. He had a dream. Basically, he had a dream of circumnavigation of Earth. So he organized the first expedition, which proved to be the first attempt of circumnavigation of the entire Earth. Unfortunately, when it had almost reached the completion, Magellan was killed in Philippines. However, his companions completed the circumnavigation and completed his dream. Charles I, the King of Spain, had planned this expedition. So next person about whom we are going to understand is Samuel de Champlain. Now the French navigator and the cartographer organized expedition to the North America. There he established French colonies and he established the city of Quebec in Canada. Now cartographer is the one who designs the maps. That is basically a cartographer. Next person about whom we are going to understand is Abel Johnson Tasman. Now Abel Johnson Tasman. Tasman was basically born in Holland. He contributed to the colonial rush for searching unknown lands by discovering New Zealand. In the year 1644, he surveyed the southwest coast of New Guinea Islands and discovered the region of Carpentaria in Queensland, a northeastern state in Australia. So basically all these were into the parts of Australian continent. Next navigator is Captain James Cook. Now Captain James Cook of British Royal Navy set his foot in New Zealand and Australia. He surveyed the islands in the Pacific Ocean and prepared accurate maps. So basically हम लोगों ने cartography देखा था and similar things उसने भी maps prepare करना start किया था. He cut across 60,000 nautical miles during his journey of 3 years. Next person or next navigator about whom we are going to understand is Louis Antoine de Bougainville. Now, who was he? He was a French seafarer. He reached Tahiti after crossing the Pacific Ocean. In the year 1771, he wrote a book, Voyages Around the World, which describes his journey to Tahiti. Using the information in this book, French missionaries reached Tahiti in the 19th century and they established a French colony in Tahiti. One of the islands and also a flowering climber, Bougainvillea, is named after him. Next is Mungo Park. Now Mungo Park was a Scottish explorer. He is known for his expedition to the Western Africa. In 1795, he traced courses of river Niger as a part of expedition. So slowly and gradually, there were many sailors who started exploring different parts of African and Asian continents. Why? Because they wanted raw materials. So raw materials से basically what they wanted कि भाई अपने machines में use करना था and machines में use करना था and that is why there came across industrial revolution. So industrial revolution आया, that was one of the main reason why raw materials was required. It was basically vice versa. So, Industrial Revolution basically indicates the transition from manual production to the mechanized production. इन द 18th एंड 19th सेंचुरी हम लोगों ने देखा था स्टीम इंजन या स्टीम पावर यूज़ करना चालू किया था. स्टीम पावर एंड वाटर पावर्ड हाइड्रोलिक मशीन्स चालू हुआ था विच केम इन टू यूज़ फॉर द इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन. एंड जैसे इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन में ये चालू हुआ, बेसिकली द इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन कुड हैपन ओनली इन अ कैपिटलिस्ट इकोनॉमी. So in the capitalist economy, जहाँ पे private owners are allowed, that is a capitalist economy. So in the capitalist economy, a new class of capitalists, that is businessmen, came into existence who were either owners of the industries as or establishment, basically factories, or could provide capital to such establishment. मतलब या तो वो ओनर है वो एस्टेब्लिशमेंट के, या तो वो उसको कैपिटल सप्लाई कर रहे हैं, मतलब बेसिकली क्या दे रहे हैं, पैसा. That is why to produce commodities for common use with minimum possible production cost to pay least possible wages in order to maintain maximum profit margin, these were the basic motive. मतलब कोई भी बिजनेसमैन यही सोचेगा ना कि वेजेस मेरे को कम देना है, प्रोडक्शन का जो पैसा है वो भी कॉस्ट कम हो जाएगा, और जो सेलिंग प्राइस है वो ज़्यादा, मतलब एट द एंड ऑफ द डे प्रॉफिट ज़्यादा. The characteristics of capitalist economy started. The private ownership of the industrial establishment continued, and the manufacturer's right to manufacture and to fix the price of the manufactured goods also determined the profit margins. मतलब basically वो भी fix था कि मेरे को इतना profit margin रखना है. This was to buy the goods of his own choice, and these are inbuilt norms of the capitalist economy. So basically in England the atmosphere was suitable for industrial revolution. There were hell lot of industries which were made and large amounts of iron ore and coal were available. So iron ore मिला, coal मिला, और क्या चाहिए, इंडस्ट्री चालू कर देते हैं. The humid climate of England was too suitable for producing cotton yarn, and basically cotton produce करने के लिए England was, मतलब that was blessing in disguise उन लोगों के लिए कि भाई humidity है, तो that is the best part. With these favorable conditions, textile industries flourished in different parts of England, and that time England had established their colonies in many countries. So England could easily obtain large quantities of essential raw materials at a very cheaper rate. Like best example India. इंडिया से वो लोग कॉटन लेके जाते थे, वो लोग किधर लेके जाते थे, इंग्लैंड. इंग्लैंड में फैक्ट्री में वो लोग क्या बनाते थे, टी शर्ट बेचने के लिए वापस रेडी मार्केट्स किधर था, इन द अनडेवलप्ड नेशंस ऑफ एशिया एंड अफ्रीका. सो England could easily obtain large quantities of essential raw materials at a very cheaper rate from their colonies. Now, England could also export the processed goods to colonies and sell the processed goods to the colonies at that particular profit margin using their navy. तो जब भी नेवी का यूज कर लिया था, द प्रॉफिट्स अर्नड इन द कॉलोनीज में लार्ज नंबर ऑफ कैपिटल्स अवेलेबल टू द ब्रिटिश मर्चेंट्स. मतलब जो ब्रिटिश ट्रेडर्स थे उन लोगों को बहुत पैसा, बहुत प्रॉफिट मिला. There was availability of cheap labor, made it possible for them to maintain optimum level of cost. मतलब perfect, not more not less, optimum, जितना मेरे को चाहिए उतना, ताकि मेरा profit margin बनता रहे. These factors giving boost to economy prepared favorable ground for the onset of industrial revolution in England. So basically when we talk about industrial revolution, this was the revolution which was caused in the world, started in England. सो दिस वॉज नॉट अ, मतलब एक टाइम नहीं था जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं कि भाई रशियन रेवोल्यूशन आया 1917 में, फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन आया 1789 में. इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन ऐसा कोई पर्टिकुलर ईयर में नहीं आया था. दिस वॉज अ टाइम स्पैन ऑफ 100 ईयर्स, दैट इज 1750 to 1850. एंड दैट इज वाई जब भी हम लोगों ने स्टार्टिंग में देखा था कि 18th and 19th सेंचुरी में बेसिकली ये स्टार्ट हुआ था, तो उसके पीछे रीजन यही था दैट इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन हाउएवर अफेक्टेड इंडिया वेरी बैडली. It was adversely affected. क्यों? Because it set the decline of Indian industries. जो Indian industries थे उनका decline होने लगा. मतलब कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री का कोई इंडियन प्रोडक्ट्स खरीदता ही नहीं था. क्यों? Because cheaply available था इंग्लैंड का प्रोडक्ट, ब्रिटिश प्रोडक्ट. The textile industry in India almost came to a halt. The administrative policies of the East India Company were made to benefit the British देन द इंडियंस. एंड दैट इज वाई जब भी ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी आया तो हम लोगों को लगा अतिथि देवो भव, मेहमान का स्वागत करेंगे, बट नहीं. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे क्या पता चला, देयर वाज नेगेटिविटी. बेसिकली दे वर यूजिंग अस, एंड व्हेन दे वर यूजिंग अस तो हम लोग को पता चला ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वाज नॉट इनटू फेवर ऑफ द इंडियन मर्चेंट्स, बट दे वर वर्किंग फॉर देयर ओन ब्रिटिश मर्चेंट्स एंड द प्रॉफिट फॉर देयर ओन कंपनी. That is why railways made it possible to transport European goods to the rural areas for selling, and it turned into monetary exploitation to the Indians. And जैसे exploitation चालू हुआ, the economic support from the Indian was now coming back. And जैसे वो इंडियंस ने सपोर्ट करना चालू किया, इंडियन बिजनेसमैन ने सपोर्ट करना चालू किया, तो देयर केम अक्रॉस चेंजेस. सो there was now the economic nationalism which came across. Now, what was economic nationalism? Now, what is nationalism? Simple words. What is nationalism? Nationalism मतलब love for the country, right? So यहाँ पे economic nationalism मतलब क्या? मतलब love for the country's economy. So the rise of economic nationalism was an outcome of industrial revolution, arresting the economic growth of rival nation along with fervently pursuing the economic growth of one's own nation became very important. So fervently मतलब without thought, without any thought, अपना economic growth कैसा हो रहा है, that was more important. Hence it became important to devise ways to put economic restrictions on the rival country. There were many measures such as prohibiting the import-export transaction of two other countries, levying heavy tolls on their goods. जो उनके गुड्स आ रहे उसके ऊपर हेवी टोल्स लगाए, मतलब टैक्सेस लगाए. Establishing colonies mainly in Asian and African countries. If need be, fighting battles, अगर ज़रूरत पड़ा तो fighting battles with the natives of the colonies were part of economic nationalism. So basically the chain of surplus production was the effect of industrial revolution, and in turn the economy based on surplus production supported economic nationalism. So surplus production, students remember, surplus मतलब extra, एक्स्ट्रा प्रोडक्शन हुआ था. दिस वॉज द इफेक्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, कि भाई इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन आया, एक्सेस प्रोडक्शन हुआ, तो अच्छा प्रोडक्शन बढ़ा तो हम लोग खरीदेंगे कि सेल करेंगे? ऑफकोर्स सेल करेंगे, प्रोडक्शन ज़्यादा है. तो सेल करने के लिए किधर सेल कर रहे थे? तो दैट इज़ वाई वो लोग अनडेवलप्ड नेशन में आ रहे थे, लाइक इंडिया. सो हियर अनडेवलप्ड नेशन में आए, सरप्लस प्रोडक्शन हुआ. दिस सपोर्टेड इकोनॉमिक नेशनलिज्म एंड ऑल्सो इंपीरियलिज्म. It began the vicious circle of continuously capturing new marketplaces, searching for sources of cheap supply of raw materials to maintain an unbroken chain of supply of raw materials to attract more and more investors. मतलब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा investors अपने business में invest करने चाहिए, and to safeguard, that is protect their investment and so on. It basically resulted into limitless exploitation of the colonies. And जैसे exploitation चालू हुआ, there was extreme nationalism amongst the Indian traders. Industrialization चालू हुआ, concept of racial superiority start हुआ, aggressive colonial policies आए, supported further growth of imperialism. The result was the immense expansion of the empires of European nations like England, France, Belgium, जर्मनी एक्सेट्रा. इन द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर जब भी colonialism चालू हुआ है, तो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट हाउ दीज यूरोपियन कंट्रीज केम टू आवर कंट्री एंड स्टार्टेड colonialism, दैट इज imperialism. सो colonialism कैसे चालू किया उन लोगों ने, एंड हाउ दे स्टार्टेड कैप्चरिंग आवर कंट्री वॉज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. So we'll study that in the next chapter. Till then, stay safe, stay home, take care, bye bye.